Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into something quite structured, actually. It's Bill Detmer's logical thinking process.
That's right. We're looking at an explanation, sort of a breakdown from Detmer himself, based on a transcript.
Yeah, and our goal here is really to unpack it, isn't it?
Yeah.
This framework, it's meant to guide you, from having this vague sense that something's off,
Right, like in your business or maybe a project. Could be anything, really.
all the way through to a solution that's not just an idea, but something clear, checked, and actually put into action.
Exactly. A structured journey from problem to implementation.
Okay, so let's get into it. The core seems to be this set of logic trees, integrated based on deduction.
Precisely. 5 main tools, often shown as trees, and they follow each other naturally. One builds on the next.
Each doing a specific job in the problem-solving chain.
Each step has its purpose.
So, step one, where does Detmer say to begin?
Well, it starts with the goal tree. And honestly, the source stresses this is maybe the most critical piece.
The goal tree. So, defining success.
Exactly. What should the system actually achieve? What results are you aiming for? You nail down the critical success factors, the must-haves, and the necessary conditions or tasks to get there.
Okay.
The source calls it the hallmark of acceptability. Makes sense, right, if you don't know where you're going?
How can you possibly figure out why you're not getting there? Yeah, that tracks. Set the target first.
Right.
So once the goal is crystal clear, then you look at the why not? Why are we failing?
Precisely. That brings us to step 2, the current reality tree. Think of it as a cause and effect diagram.
A snapshot of today.
Yes, showing why the system isn't hitting those goals you just defined. You follow the chains of cause and effect backwards.
To find the real issues.
The critical root causes, that's the key term. Not just surface problems, but the deep down reasons. It answers. Why are we failing?
And finding root causes stops you from just, patching symptoms over and over.
Exactly. Avoids that whack-a-mole situation where problems keep popping back up.
Now, after identifying those root causes, the source mentions something about resistance or conflict.
Ah, yes. The evaporating cloud. This is a neat tool. See, fixing root causes often means change, and change, well, people can resist it.
Understandably.
So the evaporating cloud is designed for conflict resolution. It helps you unpack the assumptions behind the conflict and find a win-win sort of path.
So it tackles the people part of the problem.
In a way, yes. But importantly, the output here is just an idea for a solution. Not the final plan, just a direction that resolves the core conflict.
Okay, an idea. How do you know if it's a good idea before you dive in?
Great question. That's step 3, the future reality tree. This is where you rigorously test that solution idea.
Logically test it.
Exactly. You map out, okay, if we implement this idea, what happens? You project the cause and effect chain into the future.
To see if it actually leads to the goal.
Yes, and crucially, to bulletproof it. You actively look for potential downsides, unintended consequences.
So you try to break it on paper first.
Kind of like a tabletop exercise, yeah. Find the flaws before you invest time and money. Once it stands up to scrutiny, then you have a workable solution.
That seems incredibly smart. Avoiding creating new problems is half the battle. So, workable solution in hand. What's next? Implementation.
That's step 4,
Yeah.
essentially. Using the prerequisite tree. This is all about planning the execution.
Okay, the how-to.
Right, what has to happen and in what sequence. It helps you identify obstacles up front and figure out the necessary steps, the prerequisites, to put the solution into practice smoothly.
So, the whole framework takes you from that fuzzy problem
Yeah.
all the way to a planned, logically solid implementation.
Exactly. And the emphasis is on confidence because, as the source says, it's logically verified every step of the way.
When you boil it all down, it seems like this whole process is just answering the big questions anyone leading something complex has to face.
Absolutely. It distills down to 4 key questions.
Okay, what are they?
First, what results specifically do I expect my system to produce? That's your goal tree work.
Right, the target.
Second, why isn't it producing those results? And specifically, what needs to change? That's the current reality tree, identifying those root causes, maybe using the cloud.
Understanding the gap in the levers.
Okay. Third, what should I change to? That's the solution idea that you've tested and bulletproofed with the future reality tree.
The verified what?
And finally, fourth, how do I execute the changes as efficiently as possible? And that's where the prerequisite tree comes in for planning.
What to achieve, why you're failing, what to do about it, and how to do it. It's comprehensive.
It really forces a level of clarity and rigor at each stage. It's not just about brainstorming, it's structured thinking.
So what we've got here is a powerful logical toolkit. Define the goal, find the real root causes, test your fix thoroughly, then plan the rollout.
It's a very disciplined approach.
Which leads to a final thought for you, listening. How might using a structured logical process like this change how you approach challenges? Think about moving beyond just having an idea to having one you've actually verified before you commit. How might that change things for you?